close your eyes for a moment. Just breathe. Breathe in deeply. And as you exhale, I want you to release every doubt, every fear, every whisper that ever told you that you were not enough. Because what I am about to tell you is not something you are going to simply hear. It is something your soul already knows. It is a truth that has been written in the stars long before you were born, long before your name was given to you, long before you ever took your first breath in this world. You were chosen, not by accident, not by chance, not by a random collision of circumstances. You were deliberately, purposefully, and cosmically chosen for the path you are walking. The universe did not make a mistake when it placed your spirit inside this body. At this time, in this generation, in this precise moment of human history, every single detail of your existence is intentional. The fire inside you that's restless, relentless burning that refuses to go quiet. Even when the world tries to silence it, that fire is not a flaw. That fire is your calling. And today, right now, in this very moment, I want you to understand something that will change the way you see yourself forever. You are not alone in your fight. The whole world, seen and unseen, stands behind you against your enemies, the forces of light, the ancestors who came before you, the universe itself. They are all aligned in your favor. Your enemies, whether they are people, circumstances, doubts, or darkness, do not stand a chance, because when the chosen one rises, everything that was sent to destroy them becomes the very fuel that launches them into their destiny. Part or northeast, the mark of the chosen. There is something different about you, and deep down, you have always known it. Even as a child, you felt it, that quiet but persistent sense that you were here for something more. Maybe you could not articulate it back then. Maybe you still struggle to put it into words today. But the feeling has never left you, has it? That quiet voice in the back of your mind that says, there is more. I am more. This cannot be all there is. That voice is not delusion. That voice is not arrogance. That voice is divine recognition. It is the universe speaking directly to your soul, reminding you of a contract that was signed before you entered this physical world. You agreed to come here. You agreed to carry a specific light, to solve a specific problem, to touch specific lives, to shift a specific part of the collective human story. And because you agreed to do something extraordinary, the path was never going to be ordinary. The mark of the chosen is not a crown. It is not comfort. It is not the absence of pain. The mark of the chosen is the pressure. It is the trials. It is the feeling of being surrounded by enemies, misunderstood by the people closest to you, tested in what seems humanly possible, because the universe does not send its greatest assignments to the weakest souls. It sends the heaviest loads to the strongest backs. And if you are carrying something incredibly heavy right now, if the weight of your journey feels almost unbearable, I need you to hear this. That weight is not punishment. That weight is preparation. You are being forged in fire because only fire can create gold. You are being shaken because only the things that are not rooted deeply enough will fall away. What remains after the shaking, that is the real you. That is the chosen one. Part 2. Why the chosen. Al Washington. YS faces opposition. Let us talk about something that nobody wants to discuss but everybody needs to hear. The reason you have enemies, the reason people have come against you, plotted against you, tried to diminish you, dismiss you, discourage you is not because you are weak. It is because you are a threat. Darkness does not bother with candles that are barely flickering. Darkness only mobilizes against the lights that are bright enough to expose it, powerful enough to change the atmosphere, and strong enough to inspire others to wake up. If you were insignificant, nobody will waste their energy trying to stop you. The very fact that people have gone out of their way to undermine you, talk about you behind your back, sabotage your plans, and celebrate your failures is confirmation that something inside you terrifies them. Not because you are dangerous in a harmful way, but because your potential is dangerous to the systems, the people, and the mindsets that depend on you staying small. Think about every great figure in history, every prophet, every visionary, every revolutionary, every artist who changed the world. Every single one of them was surrounded by opposition, not after their greatness, but before it. The enemies always show up before the victory, not after, because opposition is part of the initiation. It is the universe's way of asking, how badly do you want this? Are you willing to fight for your destiny, even when the odds appear impossible? And when you choose to keep going anyway, when you decide that your purpose is bigger than your pain, that your vision is stronger than their opposition, you pass the test. And every test you pass does not just move you forward, it multiplies your power. Part 3. That spiritual army behind you. Now I want to take you somewhere deeper, in the visible world, in what you can touch and measure and explain rationally. I want to talk to you about the invisible forces that are working on your behalf. Because here is something that most people do not understand. You are not just a physical being navigating a physical world. You are a spiritual being, ancient and eternal, temporarily occupying the human body. And as a spiritual being, you have access to resources, protection, and power that go far beyond what the human eye can see. Think about your ancestors, every single person who lived before you, who loved before you, who fought before you, who survived before you. They are not gone. Energy does not disappear, it transforms, and the energy of every ancestor who overcame, every grandmother who prayed in the dark, every grandfather who built something from nothing, every great-great-grandparent who refused to be broken, all of that energy is alive in you. You carry their strength in your DNA. You carry their resilience in your bloodline. You carry their prayers in your spirit. When you feel like you cannot go on, it is not just your own willpower pushing you forward. It is the collective force of every ancestor who fought so that you could stand where you stand today. And being your ancestral lineage, there are forces in this universe, call them angels, call them guides, call them the universe itself, that are assigned to you specifically. They are watching over your path. They are redirecting the things that were meant to harm you. They are opening doors before you even know they are there. They are closing doors that would have led you to destruction. Even when you thought you wanted what was behind them, the whole world, seen and unseen, stands behind the chosen one. Part 4. The North is my teacher. I want to reframe something for you, because this is going to change the way you relate to the hardest parts of your journey. Your enemies, every single one of them, are not obstacles to your destiny. They are instruments of it. Every person who has ever betrayed you taught you the sacred art of discernment. Every person who underestimated you handed you the fire of motivation that no coach, no mentor, and no inspirational speech could ever provide as powerfully as their doubt did. Every door that was slammed in your face redirected your footsteps toward a hallway that leads to something infinitely greater than what you were originally chasing. The enemy does not know that they are your teacher. The enemy thinks they are winning when they hurt you, but the chosen one understands, at least eventually, that the pain is a portal. Every wound that has been inflicted upon you has been alchemized by the universe into wisdom, into strength, into story. And your story, your particular, unique, painful, beautiful, complicated story is the very thing that will reach the people who need you most. The person you are meant to help most deeply is not helped by the perfect version of you. They are helped by the version of you who survived what tried to destroy them too. So when you look at the enemies, the betrayals, the rejections, the losses, stop seeing them as evidence that the universe is against you. Start seeing them as evidence that the universe is so deeply invested in your greatness that it is willing to use everything, even pain, to sculpt you into what you are meant to become. Your enemies did not break you. They broke away from you everything that was never meant to stay. What is left, that is the pure, undiluted, chosen version of you. Part 5. When the chosen feels abandoned northeast D. Let us be honest right now, because motivation that ignores the dark moments is not real motivation. It is performance. And you deserve something real? There are moments, probably moments, you have already lived through, possibly moments you are living through right now, where the chosen one does not feel chosen at all, where the warrior feels utterly defeated, where the light bearer wonders if the light was ever real. There are nights that stretch on and on with no dawn in sight. There are seasons where every prayer feels like it bounces off the ceiling and falls back to the floor unanswered. There are chapters of the journey where the silence of the universe feels less like peace and more like abandonment. And in those moments, the enemy of your soul, whether you call it fear, depression, despair, or simply the weight of too many disappointments, will whisper something absolutely devastating. It will say, "You were never chosen. You were foolish to believe you were special. Look at the evidence. Look at how alone you are. Look at how broken you are. Look at how far you are from where you wanted to be." I need you to understand something about those whispers. They are loudest right before the breakthrough. The darkest hour genuinely does come right before the dawn, not as a cliche, but as a spiritual law. The pressure reaches its peak right before the diamond forms. The labor pains are most intense right before the birth. If you are in that place right now, if you are in the darkness, if you feel abandoned, if you feel like everything is falling apart, hold on. Do not make permanent decisions based on a temporary season. The chosen one does not give up in the dark, because the dark is where your roots go deepest. And it is the deep roots that allow you to stand tall when the storms come again. Part 6. The nature of your calling. Your calling is not what you do, your calling is what you are. There is a profound difference, and understanding it will free you from one of the most common traps that swallows up the chosen before they can fulfill their potential. The trap is this: believing that your purpose is entirely contained in an achievement, a title, a career, a level of success, or a particular outcome. If that is your framework, then your purpose is always one failure away from being destroyed. But your calling, your true calling, is not a job description. It is a frequency. It is a quality of being. It is the specific flavor of love, courage, wisdom, creativity, compassion, or power that you carry in your spirit, and that the world desperately needs from you. You might express that calling through music, through leadership, through parenting, through teaching, through business, through healing, through writing, through activism. The vehicle is almost secondary. What matters is the essence you bring to whatever you do, because the chosen one does not just get things done. The chosen one changes the atmosphere of every room they walk into. They shift the energy of every conversation they enter. They leave people more alive, more hopeful, more awake than they were before the encounter. That is your calling, not a destination, but a way of being. And the beautiful thing, the thing that should fill you with relief, is that you cannot fail your calling by losing a job, a relationship, a business, or a dream. You only fail your calling by choosing to become less than you are, by shrinking, by hiding, by silencing the voice inside you that knows who you really are. The calling cannot be taken from you. It can only be abandoned. And you are not the abandoning type. That is why you are here, right now, listening to this, because even in the hard moments, you keep coming back to the truth. Part 7. Standing in the northeast in a crowd. One of the loneliest experiences in the human journey is being surrounded by people and still feeling utterly alone. Not because you lack love in your life, but because the vision you carry is so large, so specific, so ahead of its time that the people around you simply cannot see what you see yet. The chosen one often stands alone in a crowd, not because they are antisocial, not because they are arrogant, not because they believe they are better than others, but because they are operating on a frequency the most of the people around them are not yet tuned into. And this is perhaps the most painful part of the journey, the loneliness of the calling, the ache of being seen but not understood, the exhaustion of trying to explain a vision that sounds impossible to ears that have not yet been stretched. Let me tell you what this loneliness is not. It is not a sign that you are wrong. It is not evidence that your vision is too big. It is not proof that you should scale back to something more realistic. It is simply the inevitable experience of standing at the frontier. Every explorer who ever set foot on undiscovered land felt the same thing. Every inventor who ever built something the world had never seen worked in the loneliness of the ahead of their time. Every prophet, every pioneer, every person who changed the course of history first had to endure the isolation of being different before they experienced the community of being understood. Your tribe exists. Your people are out there, the ones who will see what you see, who will share your language, who will understand your fire without needing it explained. They are coming. But you have to keep walking toward them, and walking toward them means continuing to walk in your truth, your vision, your calling, even when the path feels emptier than you wish it did. Part 8. You're in northeast. Mice cannot stop what God started. Let us speak plainly and powerfully about this, because it needs to settle deep in your spirit. No human being, no group of human beings, no conspiracy, no system, no institution, no amount of hatred, envy, sabotage, gossip, witchcraft, or wickedness can stop what the divine has ordained for your life. This is not wishful thinking. This is spiritual law. When a door is opened by the divine, no human hand can close it permanently. When a path is destined, no enemy can block it indefinitely. When a life is chosen, no force on earth has the final authority over its outcome. Your enemies have tried, haven't they? They have thrown everything they have at you. Lies, betrayal, theft, slander, sabotage. Some of them have been relentless and creative in their opposition. And yet, here you are, still standing, still breathing, still dreaming, still fighting. Does that not tell you something? Every time they thought they had finished you, something rose up in you that they did not count on. Every time they thought the door was closed permanently, another one opened. Not always the same door, not always the door you wanted or expected, but a door nonetheless, because your story is not being written by your enemies. Your story is being written by a divine hand that uses your enemies as plot devices, not as authors. They have no power over your final chapter. They can't disrupt a paragraph. They can't introduce conflict into a scene, but they cannot change the ending of a story they did not write and do not have authority over. Your destiny is sealed by something higher than human scheming, and no human scheme can unseal it. Part 9 Northeast, the transformation of the chosen. The person who steps into their full destiny is never the same person who first heard the call. There is a transformation that happens, a deep, irreversible, beautiful transformation that occurs precisely because of the journey, not despite it. Think about who you were 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Think about the things that terrify you then that you have since walked through. Think about the losses you were certain you would never recover from that you have, in fact, recovered from. Think about the versions of yourself that you have had to grieve. The naive version, the trusting version, the version that had not yet been tested, and recognize that those deaths were not tragedies. They were transfigurations. Every version of you that had to die made room for a truer, stronger, wiser version to be born. The chosen one does not arrive at their destiny unchanged. They arrive transformed. And the transformation is precisely what equips them for the assignment. You could not have handled 5 years ago what you are being called to do today. You did not have the strength, the wisdom, the discernment, the emotional capacity, the spiritual depth. The journey built those things in you. The enemies forged those things in you. The losses excavated depth in you that comfort never could have created. Who you are becoming through this process is someone the world has been waiting for. Someone whose strength is not theoretical but proven. Someone whose compassion is not idealistic, but earned through their own wounds. Someone whose faith is not borrowed from a book, but forged in the furnace of personal experience. That person, the transformed, tested, tried, and triumphant chosen one is who the world needs. And you are becoming that person with every single step you take. Part 10. Speak into your Northeast Meister record line. There is a moment in every great story where the hero turns and faces their adversaries, not with hatred, not with revenge, but with a clarity and a power that makes it undeniably clear the tide has turned. This is that moment for you, and I want you to hear this clearly so that you can carry it in your heart. Your enemies did not defeat you, they defined you. Every single attack, every act of betrayal, every moment of opposition, it all contributed to the sculpting of something they never intended, your greatness. They thought they were stopping you. They were sharpening you. They thought they were silencing you. They were giving you something to say that the world desperately needed to hear. They thought they were taking from you. They were removing from you the things that were weighing you down, the things that were slowing your ascent, the dead weight that would have prevented you from flying. And so, in a strange and sacred way, your enemies have been among your greatest contributors, not because what they did was acceptable, not because they deserve forgiveness in the sense of being free from accountability, but because the universe, in its infinite wisdom, found a way to recycle everything. They threw at you into fuel for your fight. You do not need revenge. You do not need to see them fall. You do not need validation from the people who once doubted you. You're living, you're thriving, you're rising. That is the only answer that needs to be given. Success is the greatest response to opposition, not because it is about proving them wrong, but because it is about honoring the divine investment that was made in you. Rise, not to show them, rise because that is what you were made to do. Part 11. The world that stands with you. Now let us shift the lens completely. Let us stop looking at who is against you and start fully seeing who is for you. Because the truth is, for every person who has tried to tear you down, there are 100 unseen forces working to lift you up. For every enemy in your story, there is an ally, seen or unseen, aligned on your behalf. Think about the strangers who have shown you unexpected kindness at exactly the right moment. Think about the mentor who showed up in your life precisely when you were about to give up. Think about the book you found by accident that gave you the exact answer you have been searching for. Think about the conversation that happened randomly, the job opportunity that appeared from nowhere, the idea that came to you in a dream, the moment of sudden clarity that arrived out of silence. These are not coincidences. These are the fingerprints of the forces that are working in your favor. The universe is conspiring for you. The ancestors are praying for you. The divine is moving on your behalf. The people who are meant to carry you are being prepared and positioned even now. And being all of that, the world itself, in its deepest spiritual reality, stands behind the one who is courageous enough to walk in their purpose. Because when a chosen one rises, they do not rise for themselves alone. They rise for everyone who is watching and wondering if it is possible. They rise for everyone who needs proof that the darkness does not win. They rise for everyone who needs a living example that faith, persistence, and courage are not foolish things. They are the most powerful things in the universe. Part 12. Your power in this moment. Right now, not when you have more money, not when you have more support, not when the circumstances are easier, not when the enemies are gone, not when you feel more ready right now. You have everything you need to take the next step, not all the steps, just the next one. And that is all the universe ever asks of you. One step, one decision, one moment of choosing yourself, choosing your calling, choosing to believe in what you cannot yet fully see. Because the path of the chosen is built one step at a time. The entire staircase is never revealed at once. You see one step, you take it, and the next step appears. You take that one, and the next reveals itself. This is not a lack of vision. This is faith in action. This is trust in the process. This is the lived experience of walking by spirit rather than by sight. Your power in this moment is not in having all the answers. It is not in having a perfect plan. It is not in knowing exactly how everything will work out. Your power in this moment is in your willingness to keep going, your willingness to believe despite the evidence that still seems to contradict your dream, your willingness to be present, to be courageous, to be honest with yourself, to keep your heart open even after it has been broken, to keep dreaming even after the dreams have been delayed. That willingness, that fierce, tender, unstoppable willingness is the most powerful thing in the universe. And it lives in you. It has always lived in you. That is why you were chosen. Part 13. The rise is in Northeast Vitable. I need you to internalize this truth on a cellular level. Your rise is not possible. It is not probable. It is inevitable. Not because you are perfect. Not because you have no more struggles ahead of you. Not because the road will suddenly become smooth and easy. But because the chosen, when they commit fully to their path, cannot be permanently stopped. They can't be delayed. They can't be challenged. They can't be brought to their knees, but they cannot be stopped because the force moving through them is greater than any force arrayed against them. The seed that carries an oak tree inside, it cannot be convinced to become something less. The river that is destined to reach the ocean cannot be permanently blocked. It may be redirected. It may carve new paths through unexpected terrain, but it will reach the ocean. It always does. Your destination is not in question. Only the route and the timing remain variable, and both of those are in the hands of something wiser than your fear, wiser than your enemies, wiser than your doubts. So release the timeline, release the specific path, hold the vision tightly, but hold the method loosely. Be willing to arrive in a way you did not anticipate, on a schedule that looks different than you planned, through doors that you never even knew existed, because the divine is more creative and more resourceful than your human mind can plan for. What it has in store for you is beyond what you have yet imagined, and it is already in motion. Part 14. A word for the weary Washington RRIOR. This part is specifically for those of you who are tired, the ones who have been fighting for so long that you have forgotten what it feels like to simply rest in peace, the ones who carry invisible wounds from battles that nobody else could see, the ones who have been strong for everyone around them while secretly running on empty, the ones who have prayed the same prayers so many times that the words have started to feel hollow. But you keep praying anyway because you do not know what else to do. I see you. The divine sees you. Your ancestors see you. And what I want to say to you, the weary, battered, still standing warrior, is this: your rest is not weakness. Lay down the armor for a moment. You are allowed to breathe. You are allowed to cry. You are allowed to feel the full weight of what you have been carrying, without immediately trying to find the lesson or the silver lining. You are allowed to be human, because the chosen one is not chosen because they are superhuman. They are chosen because they are willing to be fully human, to feel the full spectrum of the human experience and still choose love, still choose faith, still choose forward. Your exhaustion is not a sign of failure. It is a sign of how hard you have fought. And you have fought incredibly hard. So breathe, rest if you need to, tend to your wounds, refuel, and know that the calling does not expire while you recover. The destiny does not evaporate during your season of rest. The universe is patient with you. It does not demand that you sprint every single step of the way. Sometimes the most powerful thing the chosen can do is simply stop, be still, and allow themselves to be held by something greater than their own strength. Part 15. Final Declaration. The chosen rises. And now we arrive at the place where words must become conviction, where inspiration must become declaration, where everything you have heard today must be absorbed into the deepest parts of who you are and transform the way you walk out of this moment. You are the chosen one. Say it, not with arrogance, with authority. There is a difference. Arrogance says, I am better than others. Authority says, I am exactly who I was created to be, and I refuse to be anything less. You carry a light that this world needs. You carry a story that someone needs to hear. You carry a gift that has been given to you specifically, uniquely, irreplaceable, and the world is literally poorer if you withhold it. Your enemies have done everything in their power to convince you that you are ordinary, that you are broken beyond repair, that your best days are behind you, that the vision was foolish, that the calling was imagined, and you are still here, which means their campaign has failed, which means the light is still burning, which means the story is not over, which means there is still time. The whole world stands behind you, your ancestors in spirit, your allies in the physical, the divine in the invisible realm, and every soul on this planet who is quietly, desperately waiting for someone exactly like you to be brave enough to rise. Rise, and rise not for the applause. Rise not to prove the doubters wrong. Rise because you were made to. Rise because the world is waiting. Rise because the light inside you deserves to be seen. Rise because everything you have been through was leading to this. Rise because the chosen one does not ask for permission to fulfill their destiny. The chosen one simply rises, and when the chosen rises, when you rise, the whole world will remember why you were chosen in the first place. OUTRO closing the North East Court Iron. As we close this video, I want to leave you with something you can carry into every day that follows. A simple but absolute truth. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not forgotten. You are not too late. You are not too damaged, too imperfect, too complicated, or too far gone. You are exactly where you need to be, exactly who you need to be, exactly the right moment in the unfolding of your destiny. The enemies who have come against you have only succeeded in making you more prepared for the greatness that is ahead. The trials that have tested you have only succeeded in making you more equipped for the assignment that is waiting. The pain that has tried to break you has only succeeded in breaking away everything that was never truly you, leaving behind the pure, unshakable, divinely commissioned version of yourself. That version of you, the real you, the chosen you, the rising you has never been stronger. And the whole world, seen and unseen, stands behind you. So go, walk boldly into your calling. Face your enemies without fear, knowing that the force behind you is infinitely greater than any force that stands against you. Live your life as the sacred, chosen, irreplaceable soul that you are, and never, not for a single day, not for a single moment, forget what you heard today. You were chosen. The world needs you, and you are ready. The one who has been given much will also be tested much. But the testing is not the end of the story. It is only the beginning of the glory.